So we're going to have a brief look at constructive dismissal. This is where the employer has committed a serious breach of contract, entitling the employee to resign in response to the employer's conduct. The employee is then entitled to treat him or herself as having been dismissed, and the employer's conduct is often referred to as a repudiatory breach. Now you must remember, it's not enough to show merely that your employer has behaved unreasonably. It must be a fundamental breach of an express contractual term, or even the implied term of trust and confidence between the employer and the employee. Now, more importantly, you must have left because of the breach and must make it absolutely clear when you resign that you regard yourself as having been constructively dismissed. Some examples of breaches of contract by an employer entitling an employee to claim constructive dismissal include, say, a reduction in pay or not being paid at all.
It was the end of the month. I hadn't been paid my wages. How dare he not pay me? I wasn't going to stand for that, so I got up and walked out. It was the end of the month and I hadn't been paid my wages for the last 3 months. Despite asking my employer, he hasn't given me a reason. I wasn't going to stand for that, so I got up and I walked out.
Allegations of poor performance which are unfounded.
I went to work. My boss says, "You haven't met your targets this month." I feel I've worked really hard. I've not even beaten my high score on Candy Crush, for Pete's sake. So I weren't going to stand for that. I got up and I walked out. I went to work. My boss says, "You've not quite hit your targets this month." He says this every month. It's becoming boring because he says it quite a lot. I've actually exceeded my targets, so I weren't going to stand for that. I got up and I walked out.
A complete change in the nature of your job.
I'm employed as a senior fee earner. I got to work today and my boss said, "Can you make sure you hover the office before you go home?" I wasn't going to stand for that, so I got up and I walked out. So my boss says I need to hover the office every night before I go home. I feel this is a change of my job role. I'm a senior fee earner, and I've told him quite often that I need to pick the kids from school. I wasn't going to stand for that, so I got up and I walked out.
Now remember, these are only brief examples of what may be construed as constructive dismissal. There's a lot more to constructive dismissal. Please refer to my blog where I deal with this in greater detail. In the meantime, I want to say thank you for watching my video, and please follow us on all social media platforms and do subscribe for further videos. Thank you.